Thor Banshee from him yesterday. Have no idea what's going to come out of him today.
Well, and that's what makes it very, very exciting. Nonetheless, we're going to. There's Pain.User right there. Pain.User again playing one of the better games I think that we saw yesterday, and he is such a unique guy. Very, very happy all the time, and we are good to go. Getting the thumbs up, and we are getting. This is the second semifinal in the winner bracket. The winner of this matchup will go on to face TT1. And also the winner will automatically be in the top 3 of MLG Dallas here, the third competition in StarCraft 2. The first map is Lost Temple. Are you ready to?
I'm ready. Let's do a little bit of a cheer. If you would like Pain.User from Lazarus Gaming to win, give a cheer for Pain.User. And of course, the last remaining Team Liquid member in the winner's bracket, give a cheer for Jinro. And it looks like we have a little bit of a longer game ahead of us, because in the north position we have Jinro as the lower-seeded blue Terran, and at the far opposite end of the map, in the higher-seeded red robes, is Pain.User's Terran.
You know, when I was thinking back to some of the games that we saw yesterday, out of both of these guys, both of these players were involved with games longer than 30 minutes here in the competition. Some even going as far as the 45-minute mark. When I see these positions, it's like the first thing that comes to mind.
Yeah. I mean, both players not only have had those long games, but have won those long games with comfort. A lot of times people will have great records on the ladder, look like they're crushing good player after good player, but past that 20-minute mark, they're not so sure what to do. Neither of these players will have that be the case.
Yeah, in fact, that is when it gets super exciting, because you don't necessarily see, oh, well, I've lost my initial main army, I'll just make a bunch of Marines and try to finish it off. Both of these players did everything in their power to continue to utilize the entire tech tree, and really doing it in some very unique ways. In fact, I would highly recommend all the games played by both of these players throughout the MLG Dallas competition.
It looks like Pain.User's drilling for oil in his main with this supply depot. Just going to go ahead and keep pumping that. The R button is functioning quite well on his keyboard. And meanwhile, back in the quieter base of LiquidJinro, he is just going barracks and then gas. And part of me wants Pain.User to, like, forget his orbital command. Because if you unburrow and burrow your supply depot to be flashy for that long and then make a fundamental mistake, we'll laugh and laugh.
We'll find out. We'll see if that happens. We do see the orbital going down for Jinro. Now, will you tell us a little bit about some of those games? We talked about it during the pre-show, but maybe some new folks here. Jinro is doing some unique builds here where he was going with the early stim, early combat shield. Maybe not effective in this particular matchup with Pain.User, but comment on some of the different styles you've seen out of Jinro.
Ooh, I mean, really at that point, Jinro might even pull his own SCV back and try to do a little bit of battling in the middle of the map. Yeah, Jinro against Zerg, 2-0'd Liquid Ret, doing a very interesting Marine, then a Tech Lab add-on, and immediately going back to Marines and getting the Stim upgrade. Very unusual, but of course very clever, allowed him to put pressure back on Zerg. And against Protoss, we even saw him do double nuking against, or excuse me, triple nuking against his opponent, Sock. This is the first 2 games that Jinro has ever beaten Sock, and here we are in the semifinals of the winner's bracket. Second gas going down now for Jinro, as is his factory. Same story going on in Pain.User's base. Tech Lab also looks like both players want those tanks out right away.
Factory nearing completion for both of the players.
Reaper out. That's a little bit funky for Pain.User. Apparently wants to try to control these towers aggressively all game long.
And he did use the Reaper not only as a scouting tool, but obviously to try to get any sort of harassment that he could do early on. And he used it a lot on Kulos Ravine. In fact, if you remember, he kept a Reaper alive for like 11 minutes of the game, using it to get that vision. Of course, not as many towers on this map as there are on Xel'Naga, but that seemed to be a pretty standard opening for him. I think he just likes to have that real fast scout.
And it looks like Jinro is going for the infamous Blue Flame Hellion Rush. He has one Hellion moving outside the map, or moving outside his base right now. He's going to encounter this Reaper of Pain.User. And and there the Hellion meets the Reaper. But remember, Reapers do a lot of damage to Hellions, so Jinro's going to try to micro this quite well. Has to be careful. Looks like he's going to get caught by the other Hellion. Oh, Jinro manages to shut it down. Very, very nice timing. But with that medevac coming out, Blue Flame Hellions annihilate SCVs. So Pain.User could be in a lot of trouble if he doesn't have a good defense set up.
Yeah, and actually Jinro way ahead on that starport. First medevac is coming out, and starport is still yet to be completed. Extra barracks being thrown on here for Pain.User, and a great, great stoppage of that Reaper by Jinro. You can see he's got his Marines at his ramps and starting continue to pump out the units, but more importantly, Blue Flame is just ticks away from being done, as well as the medevac.
And it looks like Jinro's going to be going right back to a big Viking production, giving that starport immediately to the reactor, and there it lands. It looks like we'll have some Vikings churning out in a moment. There's 1 and 2 will be starting eventually. And Jinro goes by the tower, reveals that he has Blue Flame research completed right now, and it looks like he's going to be pushing the front. You gotta know that there's going to be a drop in your main any second if you are Pain.User, but it looks like Jinro just goes up and roasts the Hellion and backs off.
I think that he is feigning this this medevac here. He's now going to load up, and if he's not careful, there is a Marine here to spot, and it does not see the drop ship, so it is going to get in the back here. Jinro could do a ton of damage, but we've got a tank siege just in time.
There's one going down, and it looks like, wow, perhaps very nice defense here by Pain.User, but keep in mind the attack did do some good damage, and a lot of SCVs were not mining.
Yeah, ton pulled off, absolutely ton of them, and that dropship will not continue to harass too much. He's going to come back here to the center area in between the gas, maybe drop them back off. He's going to have some Vikings come out as well, so be curious to see what he continues to do with that. Right now, more tanks coming out, and it looks like Jinro now going for siege as well. That tech already completed for Pain.User.
And it looks like the way Jinro's going to buy himself more time is by scouting with these Vikings, picking off any medevac he can, trying to pinch Pain.User off when he has less Vikings out himself. We see the Vikings moving out down to the left side, going to try to distract. He's going to be drawing a lot of units out this way, and there, look at this, Pain.User will likely be reacting by sending everything down, and there he goes. Can he get the first shot off in the Viking battle? Looks like yes, but at the same time, a drop in the backside.
Yep, we got the drop coming in. Of course, those Hellions want to come back for some more. How I still like this defensive siege tank here on Pain.User. Just has such a wide arc of everything that is going on, and some great defense right there. He's not doing anything with these, but they're not being scouted either. So we're gonna have Jinro now with his Vikings heading on back to the base meetup with a third as well. Here they go, moving in now, and they are gonna take one hit from the siege tank. Got to back off. And none of those were repaired. He's going to drop them right on top of the siege tank. Beautiful.
I mean, even though siege tanks take such little damage from those Hellions, the fact that he can get free shots off is obviously going to be helpful. But now the Viking beginning to wail away at that medevac down to 46 hit points. But Jinro will be able to retreat with the Hellions at least.
Yep, I think the medevac is going to stop right there, get taken out as well. We've got a few more Vikings making its way up to the front. More tanks coming out for Jinro as well. So see Stim going down for Pain.User, more unit production. And then also we have got both players with their expansions up. However, Pain.User a little bit ahead there.
And it looks like Jinro's doing something very unusual, getting an extremely fast factory after his first one is already complete, so clearly wanting to get a big tank count. A little bit less typical recently because players have been loving big Marine Marauder drops, big Marine Marauder movement in general, but Jinro trusting in the strength of the tank, going to be doing a lot of defending and expanding this game.
Oh, and Pain.User wants to move out at least to Zelnaga Cavern. He is going to meet up here with the Vikings. One Viking does go down in a 3v1. They are taken out, but the Marines will go on the hunt. They do a little bit of damage to the remaining two Vikings and then back off back to the tower. Additionally, is still in production. Just a lot of unit production happening on both sides right now.
And here comes a very clever little medevac drop by Pain.User. This has become very popular in Terran vs. Terran, the not full medevac. You bring dropping some units, not that many, because you want to just kill a couple of SCVs, but the chances of the drop dying are pretty high, so you cannot afford to risk too much. So it looks like Pain.User is also knocking down these back destructible rocks, and here he's going to find a free supply depot that he could potentially go to kill. But Jinro looks like, oh no, he has a Viking, and it looks like Pain.User is going to try to go in for some bigger damage.
Yeah, he is. He gets right in there, sims those Marines. It gets a couple of SCVs. Viking is going to come in and take out that medevac, but try to keep those heals going. Oh no! Taking out the Viking there, also picking off a few of these Marines that are all by themselves. Vikings come out, fly Jinro to assist finally, and he does. Look at all of the SCVs that were taken off of there. They were moved down to the expansion. They're now moving back, so ultimately a really successful drop just with 4 Marines.
Very much so a successful drop. I mean, Marines kill things so quickly. 8 Marines kind of does almost the same thing, part of the reason why he just brought 4. Wanted to conserve that cost, but here comes Jinro. Oh, look at the size of this army, and keep in mind, he has blue flame Hellions. He can rip through any number of Marines that Pain.User is throwing at him, but fortunately for Pain.User, he's making mainly Marauders.
+1 weapons for Pain.User. Also a sensor tower going down to try to protect any sort of drops that might be coming in.
It looks like he's killing these destructible rocks as well, and yeah, this sensor tower is definitely going to help against those blue flame Hellions.
So looking at the production, again, a lot of units coming out, keeping up that income, keeping up that economy as we have Jinro now looking to take his third. Also, you can see this expansion down here by Pain.User, this command center, about ready to finish and float over as well. He took out those rocks a while ago. Both players really containing right around the Xel'Naga tower. Only difference, Jinro not really sieged up right now, but his tank count is very impressive.
And here comes a drop from Jinro. Oh no, Pain.User was actually throwing down turrets on the outside of this map. He will see it. Will he get any shots off? No. Now keep in mind that Jinro doesn't really have a super crazy drop army of tons of Marines and medevacs, but he does have blue flame Hellions. And it looks like these Marines just embarrassingly wander into nothing, and there Jinro is going to get pinched off and is going to have to unload. Unload! Oh, only one manages to fall, and it will take out 1 Marine, but overall, big loss there for Jinro.
Yeah, meanwhile, Jinro is starting to move around in position. This siege tank does manage to get some hits off, but using the Vikings there for vision.
He is doing the Viking cluster. You group them together and you force them so that way the Vikings can get those shots off immediately. And very smart advanced movement by Jinro. Going to inch those tanks forward very slowly. And here's Taylor, a.k.a. Pain.User, losing his Vikings. And it looks like this is going to be a very rough position for Pain.User as he's getting inched forward on.
Yeah, I mean, Pain.User setting up this line of tanks right here. Vikings are able to get that vision. His unit, his bio army is a little bit smaller, but as you can see, more units streaming in for reinforcements. More importantly, is just the sheer tank count of Jinro right now. Oh, but look at this. We've got a counter push here by Pain.User as he's making his way up to the Xel'Naga cavalry. He almost took out all of those retreating SCVs, and now the army is going to be split up here. It could be an opportunity for Pain.User to get some damage in that his opponent Jinro was not expecting.
Oh, and there's the sprint forward. He will take out a tank, but the bunker there is getting repaired from a lot of different SCVs. It's going to be fine, and it looks like Jinro will decide that it is actually time to return to mining, and we'll send them home, but both players do have their gold expansions up. If that blue flame Hellion drop did manage to get off by Jinro, it would have been huge, but again, it died on the right side of the map.
This is actually a really exciting day. One of the things that Pain.User pointed out that he says he feels need to be used more in an offensive forward army is these Banshees, and he has started his cloak, and more Banshees and additional starport is going down. Question is will it be able to come out quick enough? But I do feel like it could be big. Now, the problem is not having the Viking numbers. Yeah, coming in, taking out the only medevac here, not really going to help.
And there's the siege forward by Jinro. He's going to try to pick these guys off. And there's the scan annihilating that Banshee. And it looks like Jinro has done as much damage as he can to this left side, just trying to keep the tank count down for Pain.User. It is 12 tanks for Jinro versus 6 tanks from Pain.User.
And he's continuing to move these tanks forward. Just inching them forward as you can see them up against that wall right there. Marines moving forward as well. Looking around.
And there's the tank advancement by Pain.User, giving Jinro a taste of his own medicine. Whose tanks will be able to stay alive? It looks like Pain.User has to be careful because Jinro just has so many tanks.